the arrogant genius, and the hidden Dharma.
Hello everyone, let us dive straight into today's topic. Today, we are going to deeply analyze a classic scriptural narrative. We will explore an incredibly fascinating story, the arrogant genius and the hidden Dharma. We aren't just going to retell an ancient legend about a wealthy youth. We are going to peel back the layers of the story like an onion to uncover the true nature of human arrogance and, most importantly, the precise timing of awakening. Are you ready? Let us get started. Part E, the soul-searching question. Let us cut straight to the core. Consider this profound insight from a Dharma master's teaching, which serves as the soul-searching question for our analysis today. When we read the sutras, we often get unconsciously drawn into the exciting plot lines on the surface. However, the master reminds us to pause and reflect on what lies beneath the text, the hidden mechanisms of operation that are left unsaid, yet are absolutely critical for us to comprehend. This hidden truth is exactly what we are going to uncover today. Part R, the fall of an elite. The protagonist of our story is a young Brahmin genius living in the city of Shravasti. To be honest, the first half of his life was the ultimate definition of a winner. He was born into an incredibly wealthy family of great benefactors, nourished by the finest milk and clarified butter since childhood. As he grew up, he became exceptionally handsome and extraordinarily gifted. Whether it was literature, Brahmin rituals, or the 18 secular sciences, he mastered them all and never lost a debate. However, after his parents passed away, his life took a drastic turn for the worse. Why? Because he was incredibly self-centered and arrogant to the extreme. As a result, he was completely ostracized by his peers and ended up utterly isolated. There is a powerful contrast here. In the eyes of the world, he possessed every perfect condition: unparalleled intelligence, top-tier eloquence, and a massive inheritance. Yet, his inner world harbored a fatal flaw: extreme arrogance. When those around him advised him to follow his parents' footsteps and give to charity, he refused without a second thought. This attitude completely disconnected him from society. It is as if a person possessing all the resources in the world chose to build an insurmountable wall around their own heart. Part 3, the breaking of the high mountain. His arrogant declaration vividly illustrates just how bloated his ego had become before hitting rock bottom. He arrogantly claimed that since his appearance was so perfect and his wisdom so superior, he had already left everyone far behind. To him, being asked to give or practice charity was nothing short of an insult. At that moment, the mountain of arrogance in his heart seemed absolutely unshakable. But right when his ego reached its peak, a miracle occurred. The world-honored one had long foreseen that beneath this arrogant exterior lay immense wholesome roots, possessing the rare potential to give rise to the supreme Bodhi mind. Therefore, the Buddha chose a highly dramatic way to appear. In the blink of an eye, the Buddha traveled from the Jetavana monastery to the youth's house, emerging slowly and serenely straight out of the ground right before his eyes. This breathtaking sight instantly shattered the young man's mountain of arrogance into dust. In its place rose an overwhelming, indescribable joy. Once his arrogance was replaced by this profound joy, the youth immediately and respectfully invited the Buddha to be seated. Part C, the 90-day transformation. The Buddha then began to teach him the principles of sharing and giving. At that moment, a miraculous chemical reaction occurred. The youth suddenly felt an intense, burning desire to continue his parents' legacy of making offerings and practicing charity. However, he felt a wave of regret, worrying that his current wealth wasn't enough. Guess what happened next? The Buddha performed an incredible act. He pointed directly to a hidden treasure. This was not merely granting him a stroke of fortune, it was meant to fulfill the intense, passionate desire for charity that had just blossomed in the youth's heart. Upon excavating the treasure, the young man made a stunning decision. He immediately requested the Buddha to allow him to host a massive grand offering for the Buddha and the entire Sangha. And the duration of this offering, a full 3 months. The Buddha silently consented. Think about this scale: hosting a grand offering for 90 consecutive days requires an astronomical amount of wealth. More importantly, it requires an unshakable, absolute determination. Recall how the same person had confidently stated that giving to others was impossible. Now, he was a completely transformed individual. Part 2, outsmarting the boycott. The excitement did not stop there. when he publicly announced the grand charity event. His former Brahmin peers, who still despised his character, formed an alliance to boycott the event and refused to attend. At this juncture, the former genius finally put his intellect to good use. He delivered a brutal ultimatum: if they refused to participate, he would donate his entire fortune to the Buddha and join the monastic order himself. This move was brilliant. The proud Brahmins instantly panicked, realizing that if he actually gave away all his wealth and became a monk, they wouldn't inherit a single penny in the future. Consequently, they immediately dropped their boycott and obediently lined up to receive the distributed treasures. Part Role: the hidden mechanism of awakening. Up to this point, but remember the question we asked at the beginning: what is the unwritten truth that we must clearly understand? Let us look at the Master-asked question and answer session to dive deep into the underlying mechanism of the Dharma. During the assembly, a disciple raised a sharp and core question. We all know that we must eliminate arrogance to receive the true benefits of the Dharma. But Master, how exactly do we eliminate arrogance? This is an excellent question. We cannot just watch the protagonists change like spectators in a theater. We must understand the underlying logic that drives this stunning transformation. The Master's response was incredibly powerful. He explained that the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are constantly mindful of and caring for every single sentient creature at every single moment. This means the Buddha did not just randomly pass by. The reason the Buddha appeared at that specific moment, bursting forth from the earth in such a shocking manner, was because a highly precise mechanism had been triggered: the ripening of wholesome roots. Once the mind is ready and the causes and conditions align, the Buddha will definitively appear without a moment's hesitation to guide you. Part C: the 3 essentials for transformation. The Master broke down this ripening mechanism into 3 essential conditions that aligned perfectly for the young man. The timing for his desire to practice charity had arrived. He possessed the immense courage to completely let go of an astronomical fortune. Most importantly, the exact moment for him to aspire to the supreme path of enlightenment had come. The Master emphasized that without the powerful support of a willingness to give which builds immense merit, it is incredibly difficult to sustain a genuine aspiration toward the path. The moment these 3 conditions aligned, his arrogance was instantly crushed, and his ultimate attainment became absolutely guaranteed. Look at how incredible this metamorphosis was. He started as a selfish, arrogant man who refused to give a single dime. Yet, on the final day of the 3-month offering, he made a monumental vow before the Buddha. He stated that he did not seek his own comfort or happiness. Instead, he vowed to attain Buddhahood to rescue boundless sentient beings from ignorance. This is entirely the vision of a bodhisattva. Because of this supreme vow, the Buddha prophesied on the spot that he would become a teacher of gods and humans in the future, bearing the title of the Jnani Tathagata. Part B: seeing the true Buddha. Just as everyone was immersed in this profound discussion, this question instantly broke the solemn atmosphere. But it also prompted a direct, piercing teaching from the Master. The Master responded bluntly, without mincing words: even if I told you right now, you still wouldn't understand. This was a stern warning. Simply listening to someone else describe the physical appearance of the Buddha is entirely meaningless. Furthermore, if the speaker's description is inaccurate, it creates negative verbal karma. Therefore, the Master directed everyone to the only correct source of information, the Buddhist sutras. The scriptures state clearly and in black and white that the manifestation of Shakyamuni Buddha possesses the 32 major marks and 80 minor characteristics. No ordinary human description can ever be more perfect than the sutras. This serves to remind us that our practice must rely strictly on the scriptures, rather than chasing hearsay. Conclusion: when will your timing come? As we come to the end of our deep analysis, the Master skillfully brings the focus from ancient scriptures back into our daily lives. Since the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are mindfully watching over us every second, ready to appear at the perfect moment, it leads to a question that strikes directly at the soul. I want to leave this question directly with you. To what degree have your wholesome roots developed? How many conditions are still left unripened? At what exact moment will the Buddha finally be able to manifest before you? Reflect on this deeply. May this question be the greatest gift you take away today. See you next time. Thank you for listening to this wisdom sharing brought to you by the Buddha Path Association. May all sentient beings establish right view, diligently eliminate evil, rewire their minds, and through non-invasive healing, leave ultimate suffering behind to attain supreme bliss.